know where to put a camera, how to put it, they did all that. Unfortunately, they were not so in tune with the material that they knew how to make it interesting, and I, being a fledgling director, I made films when I was in high school, and I almost became a film student when I went to college. It was either films or computers. I chose computers, but I had some sense of film. So I was sort of like the gnat in this director's ear, saying, can you make that more of a dramatic angle? Can we lower the camera a little bit? Can we widen that out? Can we, And after a while, he was just like, okay, Warren, what do you want to do? So I essentially directed it. I was the one who directed the actors, giving them notes on how to deliver their lines or how to make, because even though this was a cheesy video game, we wanted it to have some, I don't know, we wanted it to at least be fun in some way, an homage. Basically, you get more of a sense that the set is to the right in this picture, but this is the back of what we were working in, with a blue screen that we did not use, some control stuff. This is the end. I'm sort of giving away the end here, but the bad guy doesn't get away. He gets tied up. Little break on the set. Oh, I will say another thing too. This woman here started a theater company, and I think she's still the artistic director of the Shakespeare Theater Company in Chicago. This is the cockpit set. So all of those shots of the pilots were shot here in this very tiny little cramped thing. And here's Dennis Nordman, Rich Tracy, and again, I wish I could remember his name, the actor who played. This was our director, the director we hired, who had to put up with me for the entire shoot. But we did get what we wanted. It was also tasked with me to edit this footage, and in trying to make the date of February, it was a little difficult, but we worked night and day. Once we got the footage, I edited things together. We realized we weren't going to be able to finish the whole thing, so we decided, let's see if we can get a portion of it done for the February show, just a few levels. And at the very last minute, we were kind of very upset about this, but the very last minute, management decided to pull the game from the show. So they did not show the game at the February show. So in one sense, we were kind of relieved because we were working and working and working nonstop to get it there. They felt it wasn't ready. Like, okay, that gave us more time, so we're kind of happy, actually. So back to the video here. Okay, so when the one pilot went into the mothership, these are basically camera tests for that level. And you'll see the difference in a minute. This is just basically a piece of paper taped up on a wall that they were zooming in. But the concept here was that you would have to maneuver your plane. You would be facing these sort of force shields where they had little openings, and you had to maneuver your plane to be in one of these openings, or you would crash, and that would be the end of you. So this was just a camera test, and then in 1 second or so it should jump over to the actual game. Yeah, some of these were actually difficult to fit in, some of these were actually easy to fit in. We tried to tune it.
Big Daddy? Come in, Big Daddy. Oh, well, I've got to find that reactor.
State-of-the-art special effects. Blazing special effects. I have to say, it was kind of fun. It was actually kind of a fun game. I was actually very happy with the way it turned out. So there's another part of this game I haven't talked about yet, and that was literally in the middle of flying, as it would in a movie, perhaps, you would cut away to something else. So almost every level has a cutaway to something that was usually a joke. It was usually something funny for comic effect. Let me give you an example. This one actually happened at the end of this level, but most of them actually happened in the middle.
Quiet on the set, and action!
So this was in the desert. Again, you just cut away to this and then continue playing. This was in Hawaii. Farmland. Chicago. Farmland again. So that was something that we enjoyed in the game. And we enjoyed filming them. And a lot of those people, like in that last one, that was Dave Faust. That was the guy who was part of our design team. I do not appear in this at all, which I kind of wonder, why didn't I? But at the time, I was not looking to be in front of the camera. And I was, believe me, I had my hands full trying to put this game together behind the camera. Here's some footage of Chicago, just because I love Chicago. I think it's so beautiful. But this is some of the footage from Chicago we used in the game. But really, the most amazing thing that we shot in that helicopter, of course there's one of these. This was the most amazing thing. Chicago has a river that goes through downtown. And we were in a helicopter fairly low. You would never see, ever, a helicopter flying through here, but somehow we got permission to fly this low over the Chicago River, which was a phenomenal thing. Oh, wait, hang on a minute, okay. So this is the last thing I was going to show you. At the end of the game, when you finish the game and you put your initials in the high score table, the letters of the alphabet would appear over this desk, okay? And there was a big finale and stuff, and then you would see, you would be able to pick your letters and get your initials in the high score table, and you would be addressed here by the President of the United States. Let me play this for you.
On behalf of this nation and all the nations of the world, we want to thank you for your brave performance during our time of crisis. Your name shall live through our history as one of the honored defenders of freedom
Here's the
and
best part.
justice. To select the letters of your name, move the joystick to the left or right. Press the trigger to enter a letter. A grateful planet salutes you.
So there it is. And that guy was also wonderful. The guy playing the President of the United States. There was just something so outlandish about hearing the President of the United States saying, move the joystick to the left or right. Okay, so there's the game. Well, what happened? So we put this game out on test, and it performed amazingly. People really loved it. People put their money in it constantly. It was a top earner for all the weeks it was out on test. Here's what happened. Those Laserdiscs, when they were in the arcades, they were not technologically ready to be in the arcades. If anybody got fed up with a game or angry or just bumped into the cabinet, the Laserdisc would skip and it could not find where it was, and that would be the end of the game, and then the people would come and say, I want my money back. And then the people who ran the arcades weren't happy, and they would say, I want this game out of here. And it took a few months for that to happen. But those were the months we were developing this game. So we had this game ready to go, and at the time there was actually a lawsuit amongst people who had placed orders for new cabinets saying, we don't want these anymore, they're not good, they're not ready for the arcades. And the whole Laserdisc, I mean, it wasn't just us, the entire Laserdisc industry pretty much dissolved. And that was the end of that. So this game really barely saw the light of day. There were definitely some made and some sold. There were some kits that went out. It was a game we were all very proud of to this day. I mean, I'm very proud of that game. I actually, when I saw it at the Fun Spot a couple of years ago, I was playing it and I was like, it kind of holds up. Obviously it's a little dated. But that's the story of the game no one has ever heard of, Us Versus Them. Really had, I think it had potential to be great. Such is life. You've got to take the bad with the good. Does anybody have any questions or anything anybody wants to ask about it? Yeah?
If you played it straight through without dying or crashing, approximately how long?
That's a great question, and I am not actually sure. I'm thinking it might take, if you literally never made a mistake and just got through every level, it might take you 15, 20 minutes.
Do you know how much it cost to
Ooh, that's a good question too. I had no, I was not involved with budgets. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it cost. It must have cost a pretty penny,
For all the flying time you had.
Yes.
Travel.
Yes. So, and I should mention, so we went out to California, showed those guys what to do. They went to San Francisco and shot. They went to Hawaii and shot. Yeah, so, yeah. It probably did cost. I have no idea what it cost. Probably wasn't as much to hire that production company in Chicago, but still, paying the actors, so, yeah.
Was that all on Gottlieb's dime?
Oh, yeah. It was completely self-produced.
Is laser maim, excuse me, is laser maim and emulation and all that good enough to play a lot of these Laserdisc games yet? Or?
Well, the last time I checked on MAME, you could play Us versus Them, but there were problems. I don't think it played the video at all. I mean, the video movie. I think it only could put up the computer graphics. And of course, it really loses a lot because the whole illusion of flying is created by the flying footage. So I don't, I don't think, and then maybe somebody has made the strides and has tried to do it, but I'm not aware of it. Believe me, I'd love it if that would happen. I'd love to be able to play the game. And
yeah, I heard they're working on something like Daphne or Laser Maim or something where they're trying to get those going, like the other Laserdisc games. I forgot. Yeah.
Well, I would love to see that. But in the meantime, I know that I'm actually going back to New Hampshire for a family event in August, and I'm planning to go to the fun spot and with a roll of quarters and play that game. Anybody else? Anything else? Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun for me to reminisce. I'm sorry if I wasn't as prepared. Like I said, I really have never talked about this game. By the way, 2014 is actually the 30th anniversary. I had the 30th anniversary of Qbert was a couple of years ago, and it was very exciting for me that Qbert is still in the mainstream. But even though nobody has ever heard of this game, it was very exciting for me at least to come and tell you about it. So thank you guys for coming here. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the convention.